Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 1. It's a ladder game and it is a ZvP. It's going down on Frost Ladder Edition, and down in the bottom right hand position it is the red Zerg player, JonnyREcco. And his opponent up in the top left, it is the blue Protoss, Underdark. From Neurosoft is the team, NRS. Cool team actually, they've got some really cool people. So yeah, Frost is quite a cool map, relatively big, then the cross spawns, which means it's even bigger. It kind of looks, I don't know about you, but I think the mini-map of Frost, right, sort of looks a bit like one of those psychological tests, you know, the ink, is it called like an ink blot test or something, where they show it and like, what does this look like to you? And you have to try and work out. It's also, of course, the home to the Christmas tree with the different coloured Vespian bottles as the lights, because everyone likes that. Also, nice little presents under it. I like the fact that Frost has a Christmas tree. Slightly OP, though, the fact that there's no Christmas tree on the other side. So in the cross spawn, actually in any spawn positions, the bottom right-hand player holds all of the presents. Just saying, someone should say that's a little OP. Now, what can we be expecting in terms of what these players are doing, what they're probably going to be going for? Well, JonnyREcco is a macro Zerg. He macros to the absolute max when at all possible. So his big early gameplay style is all about, can I not die? And yeah, it's, if you can avoid dying, to be honest, where you just don't really lose anything when you get pushed, if there's a nice 2-base timing or something coming out from Underdark, then JonnyREcco is going to get very strong. He's going to have good 70 plus drone mark, he's going to be teching well, upgrading well, really a good composition. Underdark, well, I don't know what he's going to be planning, because honestly I haven't cast him as much as I have JonnyREcco, so therefore a little bit curious about what could be going on. For the moment, a fairly standard gateway expand coming down, that's the big thing. The second probe rally to that gas now, really it's looking really standard. Could potentially be a one-base play. That is theoretically possible, although in the current metagame it's not hugely used. It's not something that is particularly effective, especially on a larger map like Frost, where any spawn positions are possible, because you won't find your opponent quickly enough to make that worthwhile. Now, if this is one gate expand, what we like to see off the back of that, well, a Mothership Core will come out, the expansion, the next will get taken. The wall off is the really interesting thing though, because you can pretty much guarantee there'll be 2 gateways, but it's what's in addition to that. 2 gateways plus either a Stargate, a Robo, maybe a Twilight Council hidden somewhere, maybe just a 4th gate. That's the kind of big options, is whether it's tech or the 4-gate push. The 4-gate push with a Mothership Core, you can get some funky things going on, and JonnyREcco, he's just securing up his 3rd very quickly. That 3rd actually came down before the 4-minute mark, which is generally something you see against, say, a Forge Fast expand, but against the Gateway expand it can really leave you vulnerable if you're not careful to certain pushes. So the reason JonnyREcco probably feels viable in doing this is because he knows that his opponent has force cross spawns, and then it's quite a big map, therefore he hasn't been scouted yet, and all in all, he's probably going to be safe, but he will need to be cautious. These 2 links coming across the map at the moment are essential to get a good scout out to see what's being thrown down, specifically in this wall off. Are there more gateways? Is there tech? Because I need to make sure that as a Zerg, I've got the appropriate stuff to deal with that. Seeing the sentry is actually really important, because that sentry confirms that some gas has been spent. Quite a bit of gas has actually been spent, though. It's not a Stalker, it's not a Zealot. So, additional gas has gone down, but there are more minerals there. That's one of the conclusions you can draw from seeing a sentry. That first unit, very important, and really just revealed to make sure that the force field was able to go down. Only 2 gateways are part of the wall off at the moment, so that means tech probably quite likely, unless a 4th gate is thrown down imminently. But this the probe is going to walk straight past the Queen, will be forced back, doesn't get some cool information. We can see that Rico has some pretty good vision. Meanwhile, Underdark is unbeknowing of this 3rd. That's really important. The fact that that 3rd has gone unscouted means that JonnyREcco does now have the element of surprise with it. He can probably sneakily get away with it, because Underdark won't be able to try and punish it quite yet. And Rico, all he's defending with is purely Zerglings, not even Speedlings. Speed's not been started. The pylon being seen, unfortunately, will get picked off. No cancel went down either, so that's a couple of additional lost minerals for Underdark. But he does have a pylon at the front. A couple of sentries are here too, but he's working off of 3 gateways. Note as well, the sentry being kept back at home in case of a Zergling counterattack, but Lings up against Sentry Zealot, that's going to be a bit more tough to try and deal with. Rico needs to see this very quickly. He's getting out a lot more additional Zerglings, but the Overlord sees the pylon, sees what's coming down, and while this Overlord could potentially die, what it's doing is it's buying REcco time to get these Zerglings out, time to get the Roach Warren done and aid his defense, and he wants to buy as much of that time as possible. If the Overlord goes down, so be it, because he has got supply block, but he's got 2 more on the way. The Zerglings now starting to push forward. Note they don't have speed though. REcco's still just trying to make this push as delayed as possible. Give me more time. Let me get more units out is what he's screaming in terms of all of his positioning. But Underdark needs to be cautious when he moves in now, because this push is hitting a little bit later. 8 Roaches are on their way out, unbeknown to Underdark, but he probably knows something's on its way. And REcco's positioning everything ready for the surrounders if he's hiding something. Still buying more time. The force field's not being prematurely used though, and I love that from Underdark. It's really making sure that he's got the additional time to do this, and the first Roaches are now popping out, and this is what is essential. REcco just putting the drones back. As long as the hatchery doesn't go down, he's fine. The Mothership Core may be forced to recall. Time Warp being used. 2 Time Warps. He's got no option for a recall now. That could have been a very, very large overcommitment. The sentries getting taken down. The drone kill count is incredibly low still, and the Roaches gonna clean up most of this. The Mothership Core gonna go down, and that second Time Warp arguably gonna cost this entire army its life. More Stalkers are coming through, but the massive Roaches is just too damn high. The Mothership Core somehow managing to stay up, but these sentries going down is gonna be catastrophic. The Queen now there will pick off the Mothership Core, and really that entire push not cost effective for Underdark, and that's before everything else goes down. He managed to kill a Queen and a couple of units. The drone killed only 5. JonnyREcco's just going to be able to pump those back out very quickly, but the fact that all the sentries went down, that's a lot of gas. A War Prism is coming down here. The Mothership Core not yet being remade, just +1 on its way. But the Roaches and Zerglings doing an amazing job of defending that. What REcco needs now is a big drone wave, and of course that's exactly what's coming through. And everything just really pretty nice. I'd say all of this is really solid. REcco getting himself into a good spot. Underdark supply blocked as well after losing that proxy pylon. Very frustrating having that happen to you. But he's following this up with a big gateway shove. He has got an additional 4 gateways coming down, adding into the fact that he's now got a mortal rallied across, but the War Prism was seen by a Zergling. That is disastrous, because Roach is now going to come back. Speedling's just going to come and confirm what's happening here, try and see if a third's attempt can get taken, and Underdark looks like he is, but of course the Zergling going to see that his attempt to get made will force the cancel as well. A couple of units moving out, but just the fact that, if nothing else, the probe went down means that another probe's got to be pulled. It's delaying things even further. While there is the War Prism in the main, it's not doing anything because all of Underdark's attention is elsewhere. Great use of generating creep there by the Overlord just to spread this around, making sure it's all looking good. The Queen still sitting here trying to pick off as much as possible. The Christmas tree getting a little visit. Maybe the War Prism going to suck up one of those presents as quickly as he can, but to be honest, this War Prism not going to be able to do too much. There's too many Lings here. That's the problem. No matter where it goes, the Queens are available. The Zerglings are available. The Roaches will be available, but only if they go the right way. They're not getting pulled down there quite yet, and that means the Warping of Zealots is able to get achieved, but the Roach is going to have to make quick work of these. The Zerglings going to bait up some of the damage for a while. As long as not too many drones go down, that'll be fine, because the Zerglings dying isn't the biggest problem. Quickly picking up 3 of the Roaches, 3 of the Zealots as quickly as they can, but yeah, we've got a 4th base already on its way. The 3rd there for Underdark. Slightly ahead. REcco only now just getting down the Hydra Den as well as the Infestation Pit. So this leaves options. It could be Swarm Host, it could be Roach Hydra into Viper. That's a lot more likely, judging by the timing of this. The Infestation Pit is just for a fast hive. And that's a nice composition, but actually the Viper's not required yet because there isn't a Robotics Bay. There's no Colossi. The tech being spent on a Twilight Council to allow +2 to get started and possibly for, say, Blink or Charge to be constructed. But I'd say this now is really looking pretty good. Yes, the Zealots are still warping in, but no additional workers have been killed yet. And if we take a look at the resources lost, it's still not cost-effective trades. JonnyREcco is definitely in a good spot. He's up to that 89 workers already. And as I previously said, if you allow REcco or any macro Zerg to get up to that high drone count without really disrupting them, they are going to go absolutely massive in terms of the unit composition, just the tech, all of the upgrades, everything. The macro hatches will start getting thrown down, and that's where things start becoming a bit problematic. So drones are now coming down there. They're already rallied down, so it's all looking good. Gas is being taken. That's the essential thing, to get enough gas to get that Roach Hydra Viper force down. But still, only Immortals here at the moment. Yes, the Immortals can still be abducted by the Vipers, but it's the lack of Colossi which is really making Roach Hydra effective. Roach Hydra alone doesn't even need the Vipers against this sort of composition. When the Templar Archives come down and there's a couple of storms, a little bit more frustrating. But the Overseer, is it going to get the scout out? Yes, it does. Sees absolutely everything. JonnyREcco without a doubt, knows precisely what is coming down. We'll lose the Overseer, but scouts the one, the Twilight Council is researching something, and two, the Templar Archives is there. That's why we're seeing the Spire get started, because he knows he's looking fairly good up against this sort of composition. He should be fine. Storm getting started, +2, getting started too. The cannons here able to stop these speedlings from doing too much. Just confirmation of what's here. Sees the High Templar, no Colossi. Enduring Locusts also coming down. So a bit of a tech switch up from JonnyREcco here. Going to be going into those Infestors instead. Going to be trying to apply a little bit more pain, see what he can get done. The War Prism, of course, still a threat, but there's a lot of spires and spines and general good things coming down. They'll easily be able to cover this, especially when the War Prism's taken out by the Spore and the Queens. Now, I'd say the big thing from all of these, both of these players actually, is the fact that Rico is not yet maxed. He's waiting for these Swarm hosts. Couple of Zealots, and as I say, a lot of Zealots getting warped in here, able to go round that Spore Crawler. This could be a bit of a problem for Rico. He's having to pull back all of his units. Going to potentially lose quite a few drones here. Charge is now done, so the Zealots can close up the distance. The Spire managing to stay up. And the Swarm hosts have been revealed. That's frustrating. The Swarm hosts are a good choice though, because without the Colossi, you've got to basically win with the first storm. Is the way I like to look at it. That you can storm the first wave of Locusts, but unless you kill all the Swarm hosts after that, you're not going to have the option to do anything else off the back of it. Now already JonnyREcco has a good number of Swarm hosts, so this push forward from Underdark could leave him slightly vulnerable. The creep spread going okay. Would like to see a bit more creep spread, if at all possible. Still more Zealot warp-ins though. And this is where the damage is actually being done. 22 workers killed. But no, JonnyREcco is still up at 80 drones. He's got a good bank, and he's got a stupidly high number of Swarm hosts all around. Roaches just around the top here will pick off a pylon that's on the side, but not enough to really concern Underdark to pull back. More Zeds coming in. The Ultralisk Cavern as well as +1 on its way. JonnyREcco doesn't have enough gas in order to go for a massive, say, Muta tech switch yet, but he could bank it up if he wants to. The Locusts are going to start working away at pretty much anything here. We see the Zealots already taking quite a bit of damage. The Hydra's working very nicely against these Zealots. The Swarm hosts unburrowed, need to reburrow up again, but spread out. That means that storms will be far less effective. We see a couple of High Templar going down to the Locusts, which is never really what you want. The Roaches still doing a good job. JonnyREcco now losing 25 drones this game, down to 75 though, which isn't hugely low. Immortal's taking quite a bit of damage. Note there's no Mothership Core here. Underdark about to get completely surrounded. Storms trying to go down, but the Locusts alone dealing so much damage. The Storms probably now all out. And yeah, a lovely concave here. More Locusts coming in. JonnyREcco annihilating this army very comfortably. And Underdark is in a huge amount of problems. He's just lost an entire force pretty much for, well, nothing. And with that, he just leaves the game. And he just got caught out of position there. So it's always quite a good idea to take a Mothership Core with you, just in case something along those lines were to occur. So thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with yet another new cast. And of course, final reminder, I am of course going to be streaming a lot more from next week. So make sure you check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Madals. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.